special guest time. I'm sorry. I'm flustered. We got a living legend in the building this week. It's not even a joke. What do you say about someone who's literally been known as being part of something that's the world's greatest? You feel what I'm saying? What do you say to folks that have held multiple WWE titles, multiple tag team titles of the world in WWE and other places? I'm doing the research. This man's a Guinness World Record holder. Not only is he going to be honored at WaleMania in April in Philly, but what I know what I'm going to ask him, because he's got a match coming up. They just announced it this
fire
in May. Tickets go on sale on Friday. Shelton Benjamin and Josh Alexander are doing the damn thing in Prestige Wrestling, and tonight we have Shelton Benjamin with us. Shelton, thank you for joining the Black Rasslin Podcast. How are you doing, my brother? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. First of all, thanks for having me on. A little bit late, but don't hate me too much for that CPT. But I'm guilty.
Not at all. We was ready for you. We knew what was going on.
CPT don't count in February.
Facts. That's
good.
A fact.
Good.
No. So Shelton, if I'm not mistaken, this match is your first match that's been announced since you've been wrestling in the WWE, and over the last year and change, really since throughout the pandemic, I personally have been becoming a big fan of Josh Alexander. So knowing that you're going to be stepping in the ring with him, I'm hyped. Are you making a statement by stepping out with Josh Alexander your first time out the box?
Well, so let me clarify a couple things.
Go ahead, please.
This match is actually my first announced match.
Okay.
But which is in May. Mm-hmm. But I'm actually going to be doing a few matches in Puerto Rico next month.
Nice.
So I'll have a few. We'll call them a few tune-up matches for Josh Alexander. So, I just wanted to make that
of course
that clear.
Of course.
But that being said, I am definitely looking forward to facing Josh. I think it'll be an awesome match. Am I making a statement? Maybe a little bit of a statement. Definitely a reminder. But it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Josh is a hell of a talent. He's a hell of a competitor, and I feel like we could probably make an instant classic if we really put our minds to it.
I think that's an understatement. You really underselling the hell out of that right now, Mr. Shelton. I saw another tweet that you had. You posted about I guess some people, they were listing people who would face for the GHC heavyweight championship out of Noah, and you quote tweeted that, and you were like, "Hey, I never fought for this title, but let's see what happens." A lot of folks, a lot of folks know you. Last year you celebrated 20 years in the WWE, but a lot of folks, especially a lot of black folks, when they talk about you, a lot of us remember your time in Japan, and I was wondering if I saw that you said you got a few years left. You're not trying to slow down right now. Are you trying to make it back to the East, Far East?
Oh, without a doubt. And I've told people this many times. When I first went to Japan, I had no plans, no designs whatsoever around working in Japan. It just wasn't on my radar. I started with WWE. I was with, I was at the top of the mountain from the very beginning of my career, which I was very fortunate. I won the lottery ticket. So when the opportunity to work in Japan came along, to me, I guess I didn't see the gravity of how big of a deal that was at the time, because again, I'm coming right out of WWE. I was doing my thing at Ring of Honor, and an MVP gave me a call saying, "Hey, I need a partner." But I ended up going out there, and I can definitely say I found my love for wrestling again, for wrestling business, for the locker room. Japan, I fell in love with the country. I mean, because I worked with them for 4 years, and I pretty much spent half the year in Japan for 4 years. So I fell in love with everything about the country, and I fell in love with New Japan Wrestling and Noah.
Mm.
So again, I had no designs of ever working there, but once I got there, I fell in love with the place. And Japan is definitely somewhere that before I hang it up, I would definitely want to go back, spend a little time there, and just enjoy myself.
I like that.
Nice. So earlier this year, you met one of my favorites, Felicia Rashad. Talk about that.
Early
Like
this year, that was
It was like what, last month? Like,
yeah, that was like
Oh,
what,
early?
the day I posted that photo, what, 2, 3 weeks ago?
Did you geek out? Did you geek out?
Okay, so little thing about me. Typically, when I see celebrities and things like that, I don't react. I don't freak out. I don't, lose myself.
Mm-hmm.
But this was one of the very, very rare times where I turned into a complete fanboy. Like I had flown into New York to do an autograph session,
Mm-hmm.
and I just happened, just as I was walking out of the building, I just happened to see her. Another guy was taking a picture with her. She was in the chair getting pushed by airport staff,
Mm-hmm.
and I just saw her taking a picture. I just looked, and it was one of those kind of stopping your tracks and like, whoa. And I was
Right.
like, my brain said, you cannot let this moment pass. Like, can I please have a photograph with you? And she just kind of smiled at me, and the guy pushed on the elevator, and I said, if I have to follow you downstairs, I will, if it's okay. And no, I was 1,000% a fan. There was no, no superstar, nothing. I was 1,000% a fan because I think we all were. Who didn't grow up with the Huxtables? And Felicia Rashad for me has been the flag bearer for class as far as Black women are concerned since I was a child. So to actually run into her, like my heart was pumping, and she didn't say much.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have to remind myself, one, I'm not the average size guy.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So when you jump on an elevator with just her and the airport guy who, for lack of a better description, everyone was helpless with me in that elevator. So I kind of felt like I strong armed her a bit, which
Right.
I totally wasn't trying to do. But it was one of those things where when I got away from the situation, I look back and I kind of go, okay, you've been in that situation. How would you have reacted? But I felt like I also didn't act like a goof. I was like, I got the picture. I didn't try to talk her ear off, and I left her alone. But that was, to me, awesome. That made my entire year. I cannot believe I met Felicia Rashad, and she was, again, she didn't say much, and she just gave me this warm smile, and I'm like just melting. I'm like,
right.
total fanboy, 1,000%. If Felicia Rashad ever sees this, I would like to say, one, I'm sorry for blitzing you like that. I'm a big fan. I'm sure you get it all the time, and I know it's probably gets annoying. I'm sorry, but at the same time, thank you so much for letting me take that photo. It means the world to me. Like, you have no idea.
So brother Shelton, you've been on the other side of that interaction, though, right?
More times than I can ever count.
What comes to mind as like a favorite one of those interactions where you know what, I did good today?
So I'll be honest. I don't carry myself like I'm some big celebrity, like I'm some big star. So anytime someone knows me, sees me in the street, asks for an autograph or anything like that, like I'm genuinely flattered every time. But it kind of reminds me, yeah, you kind of, like I said, I put some smiles on some faces and people remember me, and that was that's the goal, right? Mm-hmm. So to this day, anytime someone recognizes me, and it's I run into some knuckleheads too, but not often. But generally, I am 1000% flattered every time.
Nice.
It's going to be WaleMania. It's going to be a situation when, cause I can only imagine when you touch the stage. I went to my first WaleMania last year, and it was funny hearing the reactions, like the Usos and Solo Sikoa specifically. Like, you could tell when people have their favorites, and I don't. It's me and Brother Fan were talking about it earlier. We had a couple of conversations we were recording earlier today, and in each conversation, you came up specifically. It's just. Did you feel the love when they made the announcement earlier this week that you were going to be being honored at WaleMania?
So before they announced it, of course they called and told me what they had in mind and asked if it was okay. And again, I'm 1000% flattered. I mean, it's really nice to know that people appreciate the efforts that I put into the business for the last 24 years of my life. So again, I'm flattered. I'm touched. Like, you get that warm fuzzy feeling inside. Like, man, that's really cool. And it came out of nowhere. I totally wasn't expecting that, but I am so excited. And I'm like, okay, time officially has started slowing down for me because I can't wait to get there and just have some fun. And WaleMania is where all worlds collide as far as the wrestling business. So. I can't wait to see all my friends and have fun and just, like I said, take it all in, because this isn't something that, at least I haven't received these kind of honors very often. So I'm really excited about it.
Well, during your time, you've been streaming on Twitch. You tweeted out your Twitch channel a few weeks ago, and
Right.
I said, "Oh, let me just hop on and see what's going on." And
Not
we
a
don't
lot.
really see you, but we don't really see you. We don't really see you all the time.
Right.
On this, we see you on the timeline. You and me and Yim going at each other, but you see that, but we don't
Right.
always see you in that zone. And it was cool to see. So, what games are we playing?
Let's see. Well, I'm definitely playing Tekken 8.
I knew it.
Well, come on, you guys know that. That's like I take it back to Tekken 2. Like, I've been playing for a long time. So that's
Who you maining on there?
So I have a few right now. I've been trying to work Nina. But the new character
With the knives.
No, not with the knives. Not him. Actually, it's the girl who likes the coffee. I'll butcher her name. I know it's like a Seneca or something like that. But the coffee enthusiast.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Coffee.
She reminds me of Rhea Ripley. So she
See it.
That's funny.
But I play that. I play Call of Duty all the time. I don't know why, because it should be called Sniper of Duty, because that's all it is, and aim bots and everything. So
right.
if you talk to my next door neighbor, they say he randomly swears a lot.
Oh, they're like all our neighbors.
We got something in common. That's actually nuts. You mentioned Rhea. Are you still watching a lot of wrestling? Like, what's your wrestling intake these days?
Honestly, not a lot. I take cliff notes here and there, but 24 years,
right,
over 300 plus shows a year. Like, I watch some big things sometimes, but for the most part, wrestling has been such a huge part of my life that now that when I'm home, I really don't want to think about it.
Tune it all the way out.
Yeah, like I tell people all the time, like, what do you do? What do you do for a living? If you have a normal job, chances are you don't want to talk about your normal job when you get home.
I don't even want to go.
Fact.
So I guess I'm at that point now. I don't watch a lot. That doesn't mean I don't pay attention. I keep up. and I do watch here and there, but I don't make wrestling a huge part of my home life because it's such a huge part of it overwhelms everything else, every other aspect of my life. When I go home, I am lazy, video game, couch potato, Shelton.
Big chilling.
Oh, you are just like us.
Facts. Big facts.
So what being that you're taking notes on it, who are you taking notes of, or what are you taking notes of?
Right.
Honestly, just kind of how the business has evolved in ways that I never imagined. For example, like I paid attention to the Paul Logan stuff. I paid attention to the Cody Rhodes stuff. But it's one of those like Logan Paul, killing it. Like he's absolutely killing it. But part of me goes, when I started, I don't know that he would have gotten such fanfare coming in. You know, so social media has changed the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not from that generation, and I recognize that. So I sit back and I watch and I kind of see how social media affects a lot of what's going on in the wrestling business. And I mean, pretty much every aspect. But so it's more, I pay attention to those things and how people are getting over before you even know them through their social media and things like that. You know, I had to do it the hard way. Like there was no, you know, Twitches and Instagram and all that. Like people had to see you on TV and you had to perform well.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like some of you guys are playing on easy. Not saying it's easy, but I feel like comparably, some of you guys are playing on easy. But that being said, I also recognize how compared to when I started, the women across the board. I'm not talking WWE. I'm talking across the board. The women's wrestling is night and day. It's not even the same. It's not even the same sport compared to what it was before. Because again, you know, my personal favorite Rhea, my personal favorite serial ass get whipped Mia, like the talent levels.
That's hate.
Hey, get used to that, because I'm gonna find every chance I get to take a shot at it, I'm gonna take
Right,
it. So just get used to that. But like I said, I've noticed just how the skill level and what women bring to the table these days is crazy. It was unheard of. It was like the women were pretty much eye candy when I first started. Not to make it sound like I'm, you know, super old. Like I'm older, but not super old. But, you know, most people think, oh yeah, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, women were. But I mean, even in the early 2000s, it wasn't the same. And when you look at them now, it's like, wow, they've really changed the game. Like the women are real, legitimate draws for their matches, not for their looks, for their matches. And that being said, this is to all social media. You need to be talking about not Becky. You need to be talking about Bailey a whole lot more. Like don't get me wrong, I get it. Everyone's hot on The Rock and Cody and finish the story, but at the same time, I even saw CM Punk said like Bailey won the Royal Rumble, and all anyone's talking about is Cody's story. Sorry, give Bailey her flowers, and because I think she's one of the most underrated girls on the roster. Like, I feel like she's underrated and underappreciated by the company, but not by the talent. Like, I think we recognize what she is, and Bailey should be world champion come April. That's my personal opinion. But it also sucks because, well, it doesn't suck because she's not facing Rhea.
Right.
Damn, he really ride for his. He ride for his.
Hey, when I was on the road, me and Rhea, we're really good friends. I'm good friends with everyone, but me and Rhea, I always call her wifey. Like, you know, like we're really good friends that way. And, you know, but it's all in fun. So let's not get it twisted. Like, you know,
Right.
Buddy's my friend too, and I respect everybody in their relationships.
Yeah.
So before anyone starts,
Right.
Don't put none of that in the air, all right?
Right.
It's just co-workers. Damn it.
So Sean, you talk about all the new things that are working. What are the things that you see that when you first broke in still work when you see it come across on TV?
selling more than anything, selling. When done right, like your ability to sell sucks people into your match even more. And again, this isn't taking a shot at anyone, but I'm like, in my thinking, while it was entertaining, I still wanted people to think I'm hurting people when I do stuff. I'm not just doing a move because it looks cool. I'm not just doing a move because I can. And you know, for my time, I was really flashy as far as my offense was, but at the same time, I still wanted people to think, well, if he hit me, it's going to hurt. And like I said, so I selling. That's one thing that no matter what, it always works. Like you can go into a match, you can suck people in because trust me, people are Cody Rhodes right now, he's selling. Like his whole story is about him selling and persevering, and you know, we hope, you know, everyone's hoping that he'll finally finish the story at Mania, but right now he's selling. Look at all the torment in and out of the ring he has to go through. That's to me great storytelling. So yeah, that's one thing. Guys have gotten smaller physically. And you know, we can go into a huge debate about why that is. I feel like guys, I shouldn't say guys have gotten smaller. I should say the industry, particularly WWE, because that's what I know best, has gotten way healthier. Way healthier compared to the 80s and 90s when guys, maybe, enhancing themselves or just pushing themselves too hard. I feel like today's locker room, way healthier. Yeah. So I know when I first broke in, there was a lot of, premature deaths and things like that from guys who were, dealing with substance abuse and various other reasons. But I don't see that happening nearly as much with the current crop, at least WWE talent, because it's such a healthy locker room now, like day and night. So that's a huge change for the better. And I hope it continues.
Yeah, pro wrestlers growing old.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that comes from there being more former sports players or collegiate athletes coming in now? I was thinking back in the 80s, it was less of those guys outside of football. And now you're seeing people who ran track like yourself, people who play basketball, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think that could be it?
No, I think it's more just more education. Bottom line, because when you think back to the 80s, 90s, whatever, like there wasn't a lot of research on things like concussions, and there hadn't been a phase of I don't want to type athletes. There wasn't this whole rash of athletes just dropping dead in their 40s from heart attacks and things like that. And I think education played a huge role in that, because education led to regulation. And now that things are way more regulated, and people are paying attention, and the talent themselves, we're all really conscious of that stuff now. Whereas I think in the past, no one was thinking, if I do too much of this, it's going to kill me. Right. Or if I do too much of this 10, 20 years from now, my heart's going to explode. So I think education, and again, time, like now they can look back and go, hey, here's the research and here's the evidence. So again, I think today's talent, way healthier, way more healthier. Healthier habits, better habits.
I have a non-wrestling related question, and I'm gonna jump all the way back to when you weren't on the show, Shelton, prior to you coming on the show. Did you hear Alicia Keys singing at the Super Bowl? Did you hear the note that she?
I heard that crack.
Oh, okay. That was
Yeah,
it.
we heard the crack. The crack heard around the
The
world.
world. Yep. That was it.
And it had nothing to do with Michael Irvin.
At all.
Nothing to do with Mike Irvin. Look, guys. Okay.
That's funny.
Okay, we all know Alicia Keys can sing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
we all everyone is entitled to one bad day at work. You know, you won't catch Alicia slipping a whole lot. At least I haven't.
Right.
I mean, but yeah, she's
the Super Bowl.
She's gonna.
It happens.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
You know, it happens to the best of us.
Before you walk out the curtain, when you standing in Gorilla, before you walked out the curtain, did you stretch? you got
You know, she should have been, you know, a little. She missed a few me. You know, she missed a couple, but again, like I said, she's put out too much quality work for me to.
Of course.
But for that moment, yeah, you know, you got to take your ribbon just like everyone else.
That's right.
You know, but because you are Alicia Keys, we're probably going to hear it for a while.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to stop anyone from buying the next Alicia Keys album.
That's facts.
Right.
Yeah,
Shelton, when you're working out, what's the playlist looking like?
Good question.
When I'm working out. Okay, so when I'm working out, believe it or not, I like to listen to metal.
Okay.
Old school rock, and you know, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Rolling Stones.
Just loud.
Yeah, like just because I feel like it pumps me up more. I love rap, though. I love hip hop. I love all of that. But for some reason, in the gym, like I need that just, you know, crazy white boy energy.
Right.
That's gonna be the name of the episode.
I love it.
And it's funny because that's how I've always been. Like when I first started amateur wrestling, you know, I had a Walkman. I had, you know, a few cassettes, but anytime I was on a tour, the one cassette I always had was Guns N' Roses. Appetite for Destruction.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I would listen to that back and forth. So like I don't know what people thought I was listening to, but like, I'm sitting there, I'm getting hyped. That being said, remember I grew up in South Carolina, deep South, and my, you know, Southern Baptist black mama.
Right.
So of
Thea.
course when I'm playing
Thea.
this stuff in my room, she ain't trying to hear it. Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure. We found a picture. This her. She said, "I cannot believe that you had that on. I cannot believe."
yeah, and I had that same face, but Ma.
Ma, it's the new Tupac drop, Ma. I'm sorry. My TV mom just yelled. My real mom whipped ass. Oh, yeah. Yes, we're from that generation. You was more scared of your real mama than your TV mom. I respect it.
Yeah,
I respect
absolutely.
it.
All right, what was the worst? Now you said it, so I gotta ask, what's the worst whooping, and what did you do to get it?
Worst whipping. Okay. I'm really thinking because y'all know your boy took a lot of.
I was about to say, either too many.
He was active.
But I do remember this one being pretty bad. I was in the 7th grade. This was just before I hit my growth spurt, and I got suspended more in the 7th grade than any other year in my life.
What was you doing?
So I went to this school. People in Orangeburg would know it as Edisto.
Okay.
And but that was I'm from Orangeburg, but I went to a middle school in a suburb. Can I say suburb? No, I'm just going to say a little town next to Orangeburg
Okay.
called Edisto.
It's a
And
beach
their
there,
their
right?
rules were just different. Like literally every day I was getting suspended. I got suspended for, I used to have a nervous whistle. So I'd sit and I would be in class doing that. I got suspended for my nervous whistle. I got
Wow.
suspended for not wearing gym clothes because I didn't have any shorts. I got suspended for chewing gum in gym class. I was getting suspended for stuff left and right, except for the stuff that I should have been getting suspended for, like beating up a guy in the parking lot. You know, like stuff like the stuff I should have been getting suspended for. Nothing, but but you know, let me not wear shorts in gym class. Oh, you got to go home. So they have what you call automatic suspensions. That means you get 3 days, but you still had to bring your parents had to bring you back to school for you to start again because you couldn't just do 3 days and come back. Your parent had to come. My mom brought me back one day, and the assistant principal, I believe his name was Mr. Funderburg, said he tells a story about how some kid got in trouble, came back, and got suspended again the same day he came back. And damn it, if I didn't do the exact same thing that day.
Yes. Yes.
What?
I love it.
So of course I go home. My mom gave me a 2-part ass.
Two-part, not a two-part.
Oh yeah,
And then refueled and
she-
came
she
back
beat-
with your
she-
yeah.
and you know, you ever seen like like on House Party when kids thought everything was safe and you know he comes in like I ain't finished yet. I forgot, right? Nah, I took a whipping at 5 and I took another one at 9 just before
She was scheduling beatings like ships. Well,
Facts.
Oh my God,
A
yeah.
sleep aid beating. That's great.
Oh man, it was crazy.
Wow.
I was begging someone, please come. Anybody, just come to the house. Because as long as we got company, she won't give me that whipping. I'm like, someone, please. Anybody.
Shelton was bad. I wish I had a TV mama because I know she wouldn't beat me like my real.
Oh no.
Oh man, that's amazing. I'm sorry. I was not expecting to hear.
Oh.
Someone in the
did I
chat.
get-
Someone shouted out Edisto High in the chat too. I didn't realize. Someone.
so
Did you
I didn't make it to Edisto High because that was 7th grade. The high school started 9th grade. So I was in one of the Edisto middle schools.
was Edisto like on the beach?
I'm sorry?
Was Edisto at a beach? Is there a beach near Edisto?
No, there's a river runs through Orangeburg called the Edisto River.
Okay.
So I think it was named after that. But yeah, no beaches.
Got you.
But plenty of suspensions.
And-
I dare say that was one year I know I got pushed through the system. Because again, I got suspended 15 to 20 times that year. And somehow I still made it to the 8th grade.
What? How's that? Because if
Exactly.
you have 15 days. You're
Right.
like 15 days a year.
Right.
I
You have to
probably
have
missed 30
a
days
amount of
that year.
hours.
I
no
probably missed
Shelton
double
left.
Hey, I was getting missed days. I was collecting them. Like I couldn't even wait for one day to finish. I finished. So
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, I was definitely pushed through the system.
Hey,
As-
what you about to say, fam?
Now, as black men, right? We don't really play about our mothers, right? We
Right.
don't, you know what I mean? Shout out to Mr. T. We don't play
Facts.
about our mothers, right?
At all.
What is it like to have like a fake mother? Like I know people come and ask you about Thea all the time, and,
Right.
and I know certain other folks probably think that was your real mama.
This is
Are
not
you-
his real
Yes.
mama. It's not his real mama. Just play her on TV.
You
Play her
did-
on TV.
Okay, and so this is where I said I'm proud of myself for not being a naive fan when I met Felicia Rashad and asked silly questions because believe it or not, I've had people ask me when I was blonde, "Is that your real blonde hair?" And I'm like,
I sure hope you
Yes.
said yes. Thank you.
"Of course I said yes.
Of course it is.
Of course." But working with Thea was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, what I said this about Brock, I said about Thea, what you guys were seeing on TV, like that's kind of how she was backstage, and almost to her detriment. Like she didn't turn off. She was, but at the same time, she was great. She was so much fun to work with. Um, I was getting more TV time than I could imagine, doing, and I defend that because the story wasn't finished with Thea because she had health issues and the company just decided to part ways with her. But while we were working together, by the way, which was only 8 weeks,
It
no
was
matter
not
how
that
long
long,
takes,
right?
it was only 8 weeks,
Wow.
but it was fun. It was just a fun ride. Like she was great.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually asked by the boss how he felt about me possibly using my real mama. And I was like, absolutely not. And he was like, well, why not? I'm like, look, I get along with everybody here,
Mm-hmm.
but I also know how this place works. If I bring my mom back here and the first person, not the second, because with moms, you don't get a second chance. You mess with my mom, I'm going to get fired.
That's right.
So it's best that we find a stand-in because I won't care how they interact with other people. But when it comes to my mama, that's yourself included.
That's your
Like
ass.
you said earlier, we don't play about our mama. So I was not going to put my real mom in that kind of situation.
Nah, facts. I totally understand that. Totally understand that.
Like I said, we don't
Now,
play about that mama.
No,
At all.
at all.
but that being said, there was one situation where Thea, while still kind of learning how the backstage etiquette is, offended one of the other girls working, and but I saw it, and I said, "What?" When I said that, when I saw what was clearly wrong, it doesn't matter who. That's why I'm not. It was clearly wrong, and I was like, "Why did you let her talk to you like that?" And she said, "Well, that's your mom." And I didn't want to no, no, that's not my mom.
Right.
That's why she's here. My mom's not. So,
Right.
no, if you have an issue with her, then you take your issue up with her. I don't care. Like we all have to respect each other here. And
Right.
like I said, I don't think it was done maliciously at all. But it was something that it was a behavior that definitely needed addressing before it got out of hand because it doesn't take long for the locker room to turn on you.
Right.
When you think you're just being cool, yeah, sometimes you got to let them know.
Yeah.
It sounds like you. I can definitely say that I believe you when you say that. I watched the video again. I was recently watching some stuff from last year, and it sound everybody that they spoke with in that locker room had something great to say about Shelton. I think what Shawn Michaels specifically said, whenever you're ready, the hall is waiting for you. I mean, I see the way you smile. I know you say you get flattered, but I imagine it's got to feel good to be able to know that your coworkers feel specifically that way about you.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Because again, I did not get into pro wrestling thinking that was going to be the greatest or even a Hall of Famer. I was thinking, I'll try this for 4 or 5 years, make a little bit of money, and then move on to whatever's next. Wow. So to have been around long enough to even be in that conversation to me is very humbling, very flattering. I use those words a lot, but it's true. Like I don't act like at least I don't think I don't act like a superstar, much less a Hall of Famer. So for me, all of these, to have Shawn Michaels make that statement to me is a huge feather in my cap. Again, it makes me feel like, okay, yeah, you did good,
Yeah.
and hopefully we can do a little more good before I decide to take him up on that offer.
Facts, big facts. And you say something, say, man? What you gonna say?
This is my question. I don't know if we were closing. It seems like we're closing.
We'll be getting there. Yeah.
We look at Too Cold Scorpio a certain way in hindsight. You know what I'm saying? Do you know that it's people who look at you the same way, like in this, like you have this glow. One of those people, when people mention, I saw one of your interviews when people mention underrated or underappreciated and so on and so, your name comes up. Like you are one of those guys that people say, yo, he should have won the title. Like, yo, he should have got his shot. He should have. I know you said you didn't. You were only in it thinking I'm going to do 4 or 5 years. But looking back at that, that has to like get you like, damn, I was that guy. Do you know that you that guy? Or one of them guys?
He says sometimes.
Sometimes.
Even now.
Because I hear that a lot. Like it's a lot of it's actually a lot of pressure on you because I try to be as positive a person as I can. I like you won't catch me on interviews dogging anyone or like I do not believe in pushing negative energy forward. So rather than go, yeah, I should have been this, I should have been that, I should have been this, I should have been that. I choose to look at the glass half full, as in I did things that way beyond my wildest dreams. When I came into WWE, my thinking was, if I'm lucky, I'll win a tag team championship. I won 3.
Yes.
If I'm lucky, I might be able to get on WrestleMania. I've been on 7. Singles titles never entered the picture, and quite frankly, like I said, I was just trying to do the best job I can. And of course, I have my frustrations, I have my angers. You know, I have my belief that, I feel like there should have been at some point in time where they say, well, let's at least try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because I've seen them take, I like to say take risks with other talent. Some of them become forgettable. We got forgettable world champions, and some of them going to be, like Cena. But I definitely feel like there was something there, and they chose not to capitalize on it. Some people say miss the ball or drop the ball. I think there's a difference between dropping the ball and choosing not to pick it up.
Because
they were definitely using the ball.
Yeah.
The ball was in play, and like I said, I feel like I did a lot for that company, and I don't say any of this with a bitter heart. This is just what I feel like is facts. You chose not to make certain things happen. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
I will. What was you gonna say, Fran?
There's I don't want to call it a trope, but there's a recurring theme that we hear when certain wrestlers aren't used exactly, to their full skills, and that there are not enough people in the rooms that matter to represent what could be kind of the differences between certain, black pro wrestlers. Like everybody isn't the prototypical this or that. It's not like the smile and dance guy or the angry guy. There's nuance to black people. Have you seen a lot of instances where that was the case? There just weren't the proper people in the room to tell the proper stories?
You mean as far as a writing team goes, or as far as the talent goes?
Like in like booking and
creative,
telling,
specifically.
creative, telling the stories that we end up seeing, where there are enough people to kind of be able to tell nuanced stories for people
be allies.
The prototypical.
Definitely. If you remember, you guys, I'm sure you guys have seen the interview where Denzel was explaining why a black director knows how to fill in certain blanks because of culture.
Yes.
That a non-person of color wouldn't be able to do. And
The
I
hot
definitely feel
cone.
like, yeah, exactly. So I definitely feel like in the case of pro wrestling, there's a lot of that. Um, and because of that, there was the skew towards, well, what's stereotypical? Are we rappers, thugs, to play the stereotypical roles? So one of the great challenge, one thing I didn't want to do when I first came in was be a stereotypical black character. Like I'm not, and I hope this doesn't offend anyone. I don't see myself as a black pro wrestler.
Right.
I see myself as a pro wrestler that happens to be black. And because of that, I don't want to be placed in a box. Like I want to be like I want to be like Wesley Snipes. I want to be like Denzel. I want to be like Sidney. I want to do stuff that is not typical or expected, you know, coming through the door off rip. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like that's the general thought. Okay, is he going to be a rapper? Is he going to be a singer? Is he going to be a dancer? Is he going to be like a super cool guy? Like, none of that was me. I'm an athlete first.
Right.
So, I just never wanted to be that stereotypical guy. Like when I dyed my hair at the time, I didn't see a lot of brothers dyeing their hair, but I did see there was a UFC fighter who was destroying people who had blonde hair. And I'm really mad that I'm not calling his name now.
Is that Koscheck?
No, black guy. Black guy.
Black UFC,
I believe he passed away though.
hair,
Oh,
blonde.
But anyway,
yeah.
Like when I saw him, I mean,
Someone said Coleman.
not Coleman. Coleman.
It wasn't Coleman.
It's a black guy. But yeah, I'm sure. I wish I had my phone near me so I could look it up. But,
Kevin Randleman.
Kevin Randleman. Well, yes, Kevin Randleman. If you go watch UFC, you didn't think about what color he was. You thought about how this guy is just destroying people.
Yeah, and he had that bleach blonde hair. Yeah.
So I kind of got a little inspiration from that. But again, I was trying to eat with everything I did. I was trying to move away from the stereotypical stuff because as people of color, we're more than that.
Right.
Like we're not all rappers. We're not even all athletes. We got doctors, lawyers, inventors, and all these other. There's this whole other world of the black culture that I feel like the media doesn't expose. And I'm like, okay, well, you're going to get enough of that anyway. So I'm going to try to do something or be something different.
Yeah.
I know there was, when I joined Team Angle, I don't even know if these people know it, but The Rock's dad, he actually wanted to take me out of Team Angle and pair me with Orlando Jordan and call us the Soul Patrol.
Oh wow!
Ooh, that'd have been ill.
Wow!
And it would have been, but again, it skewed back towards
what you didn't want to do.
What I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Again, because I feel like we're going to get that. So, and even if you fast forward to most recently, the Hurt Business. For me, that was a side of the culture that doesn't get enough shine.
Right.
And I feel like that had played a big part in why it was so well received. We didn't sing, we didn't dance, we looked like businessmen, we looked good, and we looked professional, and we kicked ass.
Yep.
Y'all kicked ass.
Yep.
So and we, like I said, we didn't have to, put on the clown show for it, and so we're really proud of that. That being said, we made it a point never mention the fact that we're black, because what happened was, and we knew it was going to. What happened was when we first started, people started comparing us to Nation of Domination.
Immediately.
We never acknowledged it, and then later, because we never acknowledged it and things kept going well, we started being compared with Evolution. We started being compared with the Horsemen. Started being compared with DX, and this is in no way to put shade on the Nation, because when the Nation came along, it was something we needed.
Right.
I felt like the hurt business when it came along was something
Something that we
we needed and they needed.
Yeah.
So I feel like for cultural relevance, like we stepped up
Yeah.
for the company and for the culture at a time when everything needed some polishing.
1,000%.
That might be my favorite reference to quote unquote the culture recently. Who was getting y'all right with them suits?
Oh, so we were going all over. Bobby had a guy in Colorado. I know we did a trip there when everyone went all out, and and I'll admit it, yeah, I got a bunch of Men's Warehouse suits.
I love it.
Fit good.
But hey, I don't care. Like it looks good. The point is, we look good, and so funny story. I hate suits. I hate ties. I avoid it at all costs. So when we first formed the Hurt business, I wasn't going to wear a suit. I was gonna be the guy in jeans and nice sport coat and a tie, whatever. But I hate suits. But I wasn't even going to wear a tie. But then me, Bobby, and this is before Cedric got brought in. Me, Bobby, and MVP were having a meeting with Vince. And twice during this meeting, Vince made a reference of, everything's going great, MVP. You look like $1 million in your suit. Bobby, you look like $1 million in your suit. And Shelton, you always got a nice pair of jeans on.
Oh, shit.
So the first time he said it, it was kind of like
I gotta get a suit.
I gotta get a suit. But then, 5 minutes later, he made the exact same joke. Like, all right, I get it. That's when I went all out. Suits, slacks. I mean,
he said, "Where is Men's Warehouse?" Yeah.
Oh yeah. And once we got the guy, we had the Italian suit guy out in Colorado. Like he had a catalog for us with all these suits, and literally, we were fighting over who was getting what suit. And because Bobby it was Denver, and Bobby actually lived there. So I think Bobby had them hide one of the catalogs with some of the suits because literally we were going to, okay, you got this one? Okay, well, I'm taking this one. Oh, well, he got this. And mind you, there's 4 of us. So it's like we're flipping through those pages fast.
And he like, y'all good?
Yeah. You get what y'all need? I respect it.
So yeah, so I came to I actually came to enjoy a suit. An MVP. Oh, and I gotta tell the story before we go because MVP will never let me live it down. When during the pandemic, we were still doing shows in Florida, and me and MVP would ride to the building together. So I would get the car, and a couple times, I'm in my jeans. I look cool, but I'm in my jeans and whatever button-up shirt and. He gets in the car, dressed to the nines, as he always is, and I kind of go, "What? Like, why do you always dress up for work when there's no one going to be there? It's a taping. There's no one going to be there." And he just explained, I have a certain feel, and I like to present myself a certain way, and you treat it a certain way for when you're having a suit. And I'm, yeah, I get that, but I mean, but we don't have to. And he's like, no, I'm telling you, you should. He started trying to talk me into buying a suit. And I said to him, just didn't age well. I said to him, look, man, I enjoy being comfortable. So you make your money your way, and I'll make my money my way. Now, fast forward to that conversation with Vince immediately after that. And MVP is like, how you going to make your money now?
He went right to Men's Warehouse. You got to do what you got to do.
Right there, hey, Men's Warehouse, Sid Jerome's, like all that. Like, but again, that was one of my first couple suits because, like I said, I had suits, but I needed to get sharpened. So it started. I got 2 or 3 from the Men's Warehouse, and then we got the Italian guy in Denver. And I wish I had the name of it because his stuff was immaculate.
You a suit guy now?
I'm definitely more favorable to suits now than I've ever been in my life. Like I don't mind throwing one on now. I still like my jeans, but
No, wait. So
I'm always gonna have a nice pair of jeans.
so were you showing? I mean, you went from being a jeans guy to showing up to a taping like you were in.
Oh yeah, once like I said, after that conversation, I was all in.
Yeah.
Like you always in slacks. Like how you see me now, that's how we showed up at the building. That's how we left the building.
Nice.
I love it.
It say a lot about a brother when you can whip somebody's ass in a suit.
That's right.
Suit in a suit.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's got a certain look to it. I think that's what made us really it really meant business when the four of y'all went out there looking like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the night, y'all was the one standing up saying, "Yeah, look at what just happened."
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. We wanted to once fans were allowed back into the building, we were hoping that our influence would have have Hurt Business fans showing up to the shows in suits.
Oh, that'd have been crazy.
That's we were like, because again, even though we weren't in front of live people, we still felt it.
Yeah.
And man, it was. I think it's one of all of our proudest moments. Like, yo, we in a time where the country's in peril, TV's hurting just because we're isolated. Like the company needs some people to step up, and I think no one stepped up more than the four of us.
Yeah.
Like,
Hell yeah.
You'll have a hard time convincing me otherwise that anyone stepped up more than the Hurt Business during the pandemic era.
I see no lies. Suited and booted, as they're saying in the chat. Well, it's we have to get on to the rest of the show, but Shelton, I think the one thing that you were talking about in regards to kind of not almost like being an anomaly as a pro wrestler in the world, it's interesting to see you being months away from stuff like this, because I think similar to people like Nick Nemeth, right now in pro wrestling is going to be very interesting. I think if for guys like him, definitely for guys like you, if you're again, you sound like you're not hanging up them boots, anytime soon. So it feels like it's just like space and opportunity for you, really, just kind of how much you're trying to do. So I for one, again, when I saw at the end of we stopped recording this show last week, and I saw this.
Yeah.
And I said, "What?" And I've been hyped ever since.
Nuts.
So
it's gonna go nuts.
It's good. I cannot wait for that. I am glad that you came through to speak with us tonight. Thank you so much. Before you get out of here, though, can you let the people know where they can find you? I know you don't want to be on the social medias like that, but where can people find you out in the world?
Okay, everything, all of my social media: Twitch, Instagram, X, whatever you want to call that. X, Twitter, everything is Shelty B803. That's my call sign on.
There you go.
On everything.
And Shelty B803.
And also for you people that play Call of Duty, I'm still Shelty B on there too. So if I'm cursing at you,
it's
don't
really
put it online, please.
Yeah, don't clip it. Don't clip it. That may be Shelton Benjamin, but please don't clip it. Please don't clip it. Shelton, thank you thank you very much.
I just want you to know I'm tomorrow morning. I'm gonna put on a suit and whip somebody's ass at work.
Nice.
See the influence. No. Shelton, thank you very much for coming through. I really appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. I'm glad I did it. And hopefully, give us some time, have some few things to talk about, and we can do it again. But I enjoyed it, and definitely we'll be back.
Yes.
Thank you. Take care, my brother. Take care.
Thank you, guys. You have a good one.
You too.